and welcome to Geek Out with Archer, with me, Archer. So today I'm just going to be talking about conventions and how awesome they are, because conventions are a huge part of my life. They have been for over the last decade now. And yesterday, because of the whole lockdown and coronavirus thing that is currently hitting the world, all the conventions that I would have been going to this year have been cancelled or postponed to next year. So with no conventions happening, I decided I'm going to make a video to kickstart my YouTube channel off again, talking about conventions. Like I said, conventions are absolutely huge for me. I go to probably about 6 or 7 conventions in the UK every year, and of course I cosplay at them because I love to cosplay. But for the purpose of this video, I am going to be talking about my first convention. But I'm going to cheat a little bit. Rather than just talk about my first convention, I'm going to be talking about my first ever convention and then my first anime convention, because these were two very different experiences. So my first convention was PonyCon, but back then it was called the My Little Pony International Convention, and it took place in Morecambe in the UK all the way back in 2004. The realisation that was 16 years ago has just hit me, so we're just going to gloss over that. So for the record, the My Little Pony International Convention these days is called PonyCon, and that was what I will refer to it as in this video because I am far more used to referring to it as PonyCon. So yeah, PonyCon was my very first convention all the way back in 2004. I was a teenager. I had never been to a convention before. I was online. I was collecting My Little Pony at the time. And I was on like the forums, the My Little Pony Arena, the My Little Pony Trading Post. There was a UK My Little Pony newsletter group that I was a part of. So I was pretty in the pony community. I was buying some ponies off eBay and somebody contacted me, not even the person that I'd bought them off. And they said, hey, I noticed that you've bought some My Little Ponies and you're based in the UK. I'm running a convention in November in Morecambe for My Little Pony. Would you like to come? And I had a look at the website and it looked amazing, and I had heard about conventions online but obviously had never been to one. So I decided that I was going to go, but I was very young at the time, so I had to ask my mum if she would come with me to my first convention, which I am sure she absolutely adored, but she did say yes, and she took me to Morecambe for my very, very first pony convention. Now, when you think of conventions these days, you think of hundreds, if not thousands of people all in cosplay and thousands of stalls selling artwork and merchandise and just tons of stuff. And this was very, very different to anything that you would see today. It took place in just like a large hall. There were probably about 20 stalls. I had a stall, I was selling some paintings that I had done. Somebody's mum, I believe, had made sandwiches for people that came, so there was a stall selling homemade sandwiches. A local dance troupe of young girls had choreographed some dancers to some My Little Pony music, and they put those on the stage. It was a very low-key affair when you consider conventions these days. There were stalls mostly selling older ponies, so Generation 1 ponies from the 80s. Like I said, I was selling some art, but there were a couple of other people selling art, but not that many, not like you see in conventions these days. The majority of them were old ponies, but there were stalls that weren't even selling stuff. People had taken their My Little Pony collections to the event just to display. So they had them all laid out, some of them had put displays on, and they were just there to basically show off, like, hey look, I've got this super rare pony, and it was really cool. I knew nobody there. I had spoken to a few of the people there briefly online, so I had like a little inkling of who people were, but that was about it. There was a fancy dress competition. It wasn't called cosplay back then, it was just fancy dress, of which nobody else entered except for me, and I was in pink jogging bottoms with a pink pony t-shirt on. I had sewn like the symbol of the pony that I was G3 mittens, so I had rainbow mittens on and a rainbow scarf. I'd not even made pony ears, I was just wearing a pink headband, this pink t-shirt on that I found like in New Look a few days earlier, and it had like a G2 My Little Pony on it, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, I have to wear that. And I had pink jogging bottoms on that I had got this felt symbol that I had meticulously cut out and put glitter on to make it shiny and stitch that onto the jogging bottoms. And I was the only one that was in a costume, so I won, unsurprisingly. So the whole event was one day. I barely spoke to anyone. I was far, far too nervous to speak to people in sustained conversation. But I had an absolutely amazing time. I spent like so much money on ponies because they were there and I could pick them up and touch them and see them before I bought them, and that was such a rarity with the 80s ponies at the time. It was just like an overload. My poor mum was stuck on my stall for pretty much the whole event. I did relieve her sometimes so she could go and wander around Morecambe because she did not wish to wander around the convention. But I had an amazing time and have been to every PonyCon since, because it's a brilliant little convention. It's so much bigger now, it's so different now to this first one. That was my first convention, my first PonyCon back in 2004. My first anime convention was AmeCon 2007. Now, I had signed up for AmeCon 2006, got really scared because I wouldn't know anybody and chickened out and didn't actually go. So when it came around to 2007, I was like, no, I really, really want to go to an anime convention. I am a huge freaking weeb and a huge fangirl, and I have been since the year 2000. So I was desperate to go to a convention and proper cosplay. Like, I saw online, like, get a costume. So I signed up for 2006, didn't go, signed up for 2007, went. Had the absolute best time. So the convention was held at Leicester University. Again, I knew nobody going. Like, at this point with PonyCon, I had a group of people that I knew, and I knew that if I went to PonyCon, there were people I could talk to. I knew nobody going to this convention. I was completely going in absolutely blind. I had never, although I had done costumes for PonyCon, up to that point PonyCon costumes had been pretty low key. I had no idea what to expect for this. So I was like on the forums, there was like a travelling sketchbook going around beforehand that I think I took part in, where a sketchbook would be mailed round to people and you'd sketch in, draw a picture, and then it'd be auctioned off at the event. So I took part in that. I tried to talk to as many people online as I possibly could, but even that, it was so not what I was expecting. I had never made a proper cosplay, so I went online and I bought a Chi cosplay from Shubbits. I bought a Sakura cosplay from Card Captors. I bought the components to make a Misty cosplay from Pokemon, and when I say make a Misty cosplay, I bought blue shorts, a yellow top, and cut the bottom of the yellow top off to make it a crop top, and red braces. That was the extent of my making. And then I commissioned somebody to make me a Lucia cosplay from Memory Melody Pitchy Pitchy Pitch, which I actually found recently online. The person that made it from the store still have it online. It's god awful. It looks nothing like the character's outfit at all. And none of that bothered me. I was so excited for this convention, and I made Sakura's claw wand out of a plastic pipe, polystyrene, and papier mâché made from toilet roll. It wasn't even like, it was just toilet roll papier mâché. It was awful, but I had so much fun making it. And then I got to the convention, I got to Leicester with this like suitcase full of stuff. Walked around to where the con was. I had like, the committee I remember had made like little YouTube videos to show you the walk from the station round to where the venue was, and I had meticulously watched them, so I knew where I was going, and I walked around. And I remember coming to this road that you walk down to get to the university, and I was like, oh, am I on the right road? Am I going the right way? I don't know. I'm by myself. I have my huge case filled with cosplay stuff. And then this car pulled up down the road, and a Tamari, Agara, and a Sasuke cosplayer got out of this car. And I was like, oh my god, cosplayers! Real life cosplayers! And I was like walking down the street and I just proper freaked out. I was like, oh my god. But I knew I was going the right way. So I continued down the road, and then I had to queue up to get my badge and lanyard and all that sort of stuff. And everybody was there and they were in cosplay, and it was just the most mind-blowing experience. And then I had to queue while I got my badge. And as soon as I got my badge, I was like staying on site down the road, so I was like, yeah, hightailed it down there, got my room, threw on my Misty cosplay, which was my outfit for that day, and just legged it back up to the convention. I didn't want to miss a second of the event at all. And I like remember running up to the university in my first proper cosplay, and I'd got the ginger wig on, and I'd got my Togepi plush, and I'd like got felt on the shoes to make the little lightning bolts that she has in her shoes. And I was so excited. I remember running up and someone was like, oh my god, it's a Misty cosplayer. And like 4 or 5 people came running up to me asking if they could take my photo. And I remember standing there and posing like, yay. I'm just thinking, oh, they want to take my photo. I must have made my outfit really good. They want to take my photo. And just from that moment, the whole event was just insane. I was up till like 3, 4 a.m. every morning at the parties and the discos. And they had like an AMV party. And I got to meet people. I took part in the pub quiz, and I just literally went up to a group and I was like, hi, can I join with you guys? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, cool, because I know nobody here. I had bought a new digital camera. It was like this blocky little thing, specifically to film like the omake and film skits and stuff, because I'd seen them on YouTube and I was so excited to see them in real life. And I remember on the Saturday I wore my Lucia cosplay, and it was a hot mess. Like the costume just, it doesn't look like Lucia. The colours are all wrong, my wig was wrong. Literally none of that cared. I had the absolute best time. And I remember talking to somebody and they'd entered the cosplay competition, and I was like, oh, what's that? How do you enter that? And like, oh, well, you have to make your own costume. And I was like, you made this? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I made my staff. I didn't know you could make whole costumes. And I was like, I am going to enter that next year. And just everything about the event, I was so in my element. I remember going to the Bring and Buy, which we have at UK cons, where people take their old stuff and you can only get some really great deals. And I bought like DN Angel full set DVDs, like a tenner. DN Angel manga full set for like a tenner. Neon Genesis Evangelion full set for 15 quid. And I had got all these figures and DVDs and manga back in my room, that trying to get it all in my suitcase when I was going home at the end of the weekend was the most insane thing. I bought so much stuff, and I just remember having so much fun. Like I said, I was up to like 4 a.m. every night at the parties. I was getting up at 7 a.m. to get into my costumes because I was so excited to wear them. And I remember the cosplay masquerade, there were so many people that signed up for it, and Naruto was the big thing at the time, and the masquerade started like an hour and a half after it was supposed to start, and we were all in this queue in our positions, and there were so many Naruto cosplayers. They tried to group the cosplayers together if you were with the same show or stuff, but there were so many Narutos they'd had to intersperse them, so it'd be like, here we have some Angel Sanctuary cosplayers, and here's some Naruto cosplayers, and here is some Sailor Moon cosplayers and Naruto cosplayers after them. And you had to go down this long catwalk. And I remember going up on stage, and I was so shy and anxious about things like that, and I went up on stage in this costume that I had bought, and I remember walking out and doing poses, and I look back at those photos now and I'm so stiff on stage and I haven't got a wig on and I'm so not in character. I remember coming off that, and it was such a buzz because it was like a proper catwalk. You went around all these different rooms so that everyone could see the cosplayers. So it was really long, and there were like X's on the floor that you had to stop on and pose. And I was trying to remember all this as I'm going round, and I came off and I was just like, that was the best thing ever. I need to do more of these. And I love doing the cosplay masquerades. I love going on stage in cosplays now. And I remember just getting back home after it and bursting into tears because I was so sad it was over. I was so sad I was back to like normal life. And I was like, gonna need to start doing more of these. But I want to make cosplays. I want to do the competitions. I want to go up on stage more. And those are my favourite things of conventions even now. I love going on stage. I love showing off my costumes, having photos. Like, I put so much work and effort into my costumes. Why would I not want to show them off? Like, I want to do that. And I love just the random things that happen at conventions, like how you can sit in a corridor for 2 hours and meet some of the best people you will ever meet in your life. How at later cons we would sit outside it's like 4 a.m. after the party's were over, playing hoopla with glow sticks, and these are dumb things that can only ever happen at conventions. And I am genuinely so sad that I won't get to go to any this year. I mean, there's maybe one in like October, November that I can go to, but given that both those venues are field hospitals at the moment, I'm not pinning my hopes on it happening. I'm going to work on cosplays, I'm going to film cosplays as I make them for this channel over the next few weeks, because there is nothing about conventions and nothing about cosplay that I don't love. I don't love cutting part of my hands open with knives and pins and stuff like that and stitching parts of myself to costumes, but that's all the fun that comes with making them. And yeah, I'm just really sad that they're not happening this year. But I wanted to share my first conventions. Hopefully there will be more videos coming soon to the channel. Like I said, I have nothing now. The conventions are cancelled. I'm working from home. It's quarantine. It's lockdown. I'm just going to make videos. Some of them may be like this, just little vlogs. Others of them may be me talking about stuff, like my Game of Thrones videos that I have up on my channel. So do keep an eye out for those. If you have liked this video, please do like and subscribe. Please do comment as well if you were at either of these conventions, or let me know what your first convention memories are, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!